What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today, BCHUSD. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe, and let's get into this. Okay, it's the 8th day of March. Here we are at about $447 with roughly 8.5 hours left in the day. I'm very confident that we either don't go below this low, and that's the stance I'm taking, or if we do go below this low, that it'll be a very insignificant amount of price that we go below the low and time that we go below the low. In other words, I don't think that it'll be by much, and I don't think that it will be for long. Okay, I thoroughly expect that we will hold this trend line as support, as we have consistently. And this image here, you guys, I just want you to look at this because, again, and I've said this, I've probably said this, I can't even count, man. If I had 10 people in here, I could not count on all of our fingers together the amount of times that I've said this. And I'll probably say it that many times more. That this is such a bullish setup. There's going to be so many people. I hope there's people watching this right now who have never invested in Bitcoin Cash. You've thought about it. You just haven't pulled the trigger. I hope you're hearing this right now because look at what we have here. Look at how magnificent this is. Look at how special this is. It's not something that happens once in a lifetime. Or I'm sorry, it is something that happens once in a lifetime. Not once in a lifetime. It probably will happen several times throughout your life, but several times throughout your life. This kind of setup does not happen all the time, man. That's the main point. Not even once a cycle. Not even once 3 cycles. Not even once your whole damn life, right? This is the one instance that you have, and Bitcoin Cash may never see a setup like this again, and we may not see a setup like this for a very long time. This is something that's been developing since 2017. What we have here, I'm beating around the bush, is a double bottom on a macro scale. What we have is a large consolidation phase, okay, a triangle, a wedge, whatever you want to call it, that you've broken out of, and you're now back testing this for support. I don't know what this is called, right? Some people call this a bump and run. That's not what it is. I've heard Mitch Ray call it a break, hook, and go, and to me that seems like the most appropriate. We break, we hook, and then we go. Our hook and go didn't go, did it? But it did hook, and we hooked again. We're hooking. This dragon is hooking us. There's a joke to be made there, but I reserved myself. Anyways, double bottom on a macro scale. Dramatic, fantastic recovery. Breaking out, that resulted in the breakout of a lifelong historical resistance trend line. And we're now finding support on it. Ingrain this in your head. I don't care if you're looking at it on a monthly time frame. I don't care if you've got a chart that looks like this on a daily time frame. This is special. And the reaction that's going to happen whenever it happens, everybody who buys up here is going to be like, man, it was so obvious. Why didn't I do it? Anybody who buys along the way, it was so obvious. Why didn't I do it? It's so obvious now, and we're not even at the best price to buy, right? The best prices to buy were back here whenever we first got in, right? Well, I mean, I first got into Bitcoin Cash like here. I actually had a successful time trading Bitcoin Cash. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, like I bought some, oh, it went up a lot. I sold some. I waited for it to go down. I did pretty good with Bitcoin Cash in the beginning, but I didn't hold it all the way through. And then I bought cryptos that didn't do good, so it doesn't even matter, right? I didn't make any gains. Any gains that I made with Bitcoin Cash went away, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm getting distracted. What I'm trying to say is that buying here, it's not the most ideal price in Bitcoin Cash's history. But I think we're going to look back at this in a very short amount of time, like within the next year, we're going to look back at this as the last call, last ditch effort for anybody to get in before this magnificent next run happens. And I'm saying these things, I don't want to get you too excited because I don't know if it happens this next month. Maybe it does. Maybe April, May is exactly what I've been expecting it to be, and we move up and we see this breakout. Maybe we can continue to consolidate. Perhaps Bitcoin Cash forgoes a bear market, and instead we just go through a crab market up here until we're at the end of 2026, and then we break out. By the way, guys, we could very well continue to consolidate here without seeing any kind of substantial growth for the next 6 months. Bitcoin is in a bear market, and it's not kicking off a bull market anytime soon. The rest of the market, same thing, right? We're not kicking off a bull market anytime soon. It's not that Bitcoin Cash can't run independent of these things, but it's difficult for any crypto to do that. It's not that it doesn't happen. Last cycle, Caspa pumped in the midst of the bear market. Bitcoin Cash can do it too, but it might be completely appropriate to curb our enthusiasm, curb our excitement, not get too carried away here. Okay? I've been waiting, man. We're chomping at the bit because what we're doing here, it is very, very special. It really is. But timing is the hardest thing. Whenever we do move up, mark my words, it will be either the most brilliant move that Bitcoin Cash has ever had in its life, or it will only be second to this move, which went again from like $310 all the way up to $4,300. Okay, a $4,000 move in like in a 2-month period, a 1.5 month period. If this move is not more brilliant than this move, it will be second to that move, and just barely so. I thoroughly expect that what we're going to see is a move that takes us above this high, takes us below this high, somewhere in this range, and my expectation personally, you guys already know, is somewhere around $3,500, $3,600, I believe. Why is it not? Oh, I didn't get the actual low. That's why. $3,600. We could go higher, and I think that we will go higher. I think that will inevitably happen. I do believe personally that in the year of 2027, 2028, somewhere in those years, we're going to see a $20,000 Bitcoin Cash, if not higher prices. $446 right now. We go to $20,000. I mean, that's a 48x move from here, you guys. The reason why I say $20,000, we take the all-time high to the all-time low. Our 1414 is right there, and we would probably go even above $20,000, like $23,000, $25,000. That actually turns into like a 56x. And if we were to go higher than that, even, I mean, imagine we're breaking out of this again, this just historical lifelong trend, this lifelong consolidation phase, and Bitcoin Cash being the crypto it is. What's going to happen? What's going to happen when Bitcoin Cash is here? Let alone whenever it's up here. Let alone whenever it hits its extensions, let alone whenever it's at new all-time highs. What's going to happen whenever we make this move and Bitcoin Cash is at higher prices? There's a bunch of things that are going to happen. Bitcoin Cash is going to outperform Bitcoin, right? Because it will move up higher. It has a lower market cap, and it's been downtrodden and looked past and thrown shade at. People don't believe in it, right? Those are the perfect coins to invest in, by the way. The coins that are building, the coins that have an ecosystem and a community that is loyal and they continue to build, right? Bitcoin, the Bitcoin core developers, they actually copy a lot of things that the Bitcoin Cash developers do. They really do, and they say that the best form of flattery is what is it? Is copying. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Is mimicking, right? Is if somebody's copying you, that's like the best form of flattery. It means you're doing something right. And I could talk all day about Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, blah blah blah, whatever. Who cares, right? The main thought that I'm trying to address is for you to put yourselves in. Try to put yourselves in the mindset of anybody who did not believe in Bitcoin Cash. Not whenever it's up here, but whenever it's here. And I'm going to delete all this noise. I'm going to delete all the noise so it can be simple. Okay? Just a little bit of noise. Not whenever it's up here, but whenever it's right here. Whenever we're above this high. Okay? I feel like I just put the same noise on there, so we're going to take away the fibs. The idea is going to be, oh my God, we have higher lows and we have higher highs. The idea is going to be, oh my God, we broke out of a lifelong downward sloping trend line, back tested it for support. I don't have it drawn, I think, appropriately. Let's see. There we go. Back tested it for support, and we found it, and you got this move. There's something else going on here, and likely the thought is going to be Bitcoin Cash will see new all-time highs. The other thought is that we're going to compare what it's been doing to Bitcoin. People are going to start comparing it. They're like, oh, well, Bitcoin outperforms Bitcoin Cash. No, it doesn't. For most of its life, it has. For most of its life, I mean, you look at this chart, absolutely, since 2017, yeah, it has. But Bitcoin Cash, even in the midst of this bear market, has consistently been outperforming Bitcoin since February of 2025. Imagine that Bitcoin Cash grows here from $446 to $3,200. You guys, that's an impressive move. We go up to that $3,600 level. I'm going to just do that because that's the 1272. That's a 7x move. Bitcoin BTC didn't even see a 7x move in its, I don't think it did, in its last bull market, did it? Let's see. Might eat those words here. Okay, it saw an 8x move. It saw an 8x move in the entirety of its last bull market. Bitcoin Cash might see a 7x move just to kick off its next bull market. Right? Bitcoin's not going to see this kind of movement in the same amount of time that Bitcoin Cash is seeing. And the whole point that I'm trying to make here is people are going to be looking at Bitcoin Cash differently because it's broken out, because it has a higher high. That's one reason. The next reason is going to be because Bitcoin Cash is going to be outperforming Bitcoin. We continue to grow. What's that going to look like? I don't know. If we see a 7x move, does that mean that we're going to move up 7x versus Bitcoin? Probably not. But how much? 3x versus Bitcoin? 2x versus Bitcoin? 2x move puts us above this high, and it'll probably be more than a 3x move. And then they'll look back and they'll see, wow, we've actually been trending positive versus Bitcoin since early 2025, and now for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history, you have this rounded bottom. You will have higher highs and higher lows. It's a different path. It's a different trajectory. Cryptos don't do this. This is special. This is very special, you guys. They don't do this. They do this. And whenever they do this, they keep on doing this. They don't turn the tide and then break out. They keep dumping versus Bitcoin. That's how it goes over time. All cryptos. They might have moments in their altcoin seasons where, yes, they rip versus Bitcoin. That happens for every altcoin. But as the years develop, this is the standard procedure for most charts. This does not happen. This does not happen. And it validates, it's substantiated once we get the higher high. Okay? I'm saying this, and I'm so adamant about this right now, and I feel like it's appropriate to make a video like this because we're at I just made a video basically like this for Bitcoin, and it's the same kind of thought here, is that we're at a generational entry point for Bitcoin Cash. You will go down in history to your grandkids and their grandkids as a legend, as a freaking legend, as somebody who was so smart in investing for buying at these levels. Bitcoin Cash, once it's up here, is going to change people's perspectives on not just the front of higher highs here, but on the front of Bitcoin as well. So the next thought from there, that platform, is, well, is it going to see new all-time highs? Probably. Probably. If it sees new all-time highs, where's it going to go? Right? This is how Bitcoin Cash has performed when the majority of the space has said it's a scam, it's the wannabe Bitcoin, it's a failed project, only crazy people who don't know what they're talking about believe in it, right? This is what it's done. By the way, lower highs is not anything to necessarily be proud of. Higher lows are not anything to be ashamed of. Breaking out of a pattern to the upside is certainly something to get excited about. We haven't been the top performing asset since your existence has happened, but since Bitcoin Cash came into existence, we have consistently been in the top 20. It's one of the top cryptos consistently. Cryptos that enter the top 20, you guys, like look at them now, World Liberty, Stellar, DI, all these cryptos, half of them will not be here in the top 20 at the top of the next bull cycle. Bitcoin Cash is always here. It's always been here, even in the midst of it's a scam, it's a failed project, it's a wannabe Bitcoin. The people who believe in it don't know what they're talking about. They're not educated, right? It's a failed project. It only goes down. It doesn't only go down. It doesn't only go down. It no more only went down than it did only go up. It was in a consolidation phase. And now what it only has done for the past year is go up against Bitcoin, which outperformed every altcoin last cycle, which is outperforming most altcoins during this bear market as well. Bitcoin Cash is outperforming that, the top asset. and you're in this very special moment where you're about to break out. Again, I'm beating around the bush to get to this point of what's the thought going to be when we do make this move? The thought's going to be there's more to come. It's going to go higher. The thought's going to be all-time high to all-time low fib retracement extensions. That people are going to measure that. People are going to take this pattern for what it is, this wedge. You're going to take the low to the high, and you're going to see people throw this measure move on there, which once we break out, which was here at that breakout point, the measure move takes you coincidentally right above the 1414. Maybe people will not use fibs at all, and they'll just do this simple kind of analysis like this, and that's good enough for them. Maybe instead of measuring it from the actual breakout point here, they'll measure it from the point that we bounced, and instead of it being at 29K, it's at 25K. Tomato, potato, what the hell ever. I don't care. 23 to 25K, 23 to 29K. That's what people are going to say. I would like to extend this a little bit further. What if we go all the way up to the golden ratio? What if beyond all the thoughts that we've connected, the dots that we've connected for people that will likely, again, we're putting ourselves in the position of the average market participant whenever they see this happen. The thought that happens whenever Bitcoin Cash continues for years, multiple years, to outperform Bitcoin. The thought that happens whenever it's literally one of the only cryptos in history to take a lifelong downtrend and turn it into an uptrend. You have rounded bottom procedure. By the way, you guys, look up, study rounded bottom, saucer pattern, frying pan pattern. It's all the same thing. Study it. Look up what is the significance of that. It'll tell you. I'll save you the studying, but still study it. It'll tell you that this typically implies long-term accumulation and a significant shift in trend. We're going to see a significant shift in trend. Imagine that from the Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash perspective here. We take this low to this, or this high to this low here, that we see any kind of standard retracement. Right? A minimum standard retracement would be the 382. I don't know about you guys, but turning this boat around, I don't think that as soon as we get above these highs that we're going to stop here. But even there, that's the minimum retracement. That's 1.4% of a Bitcoin. I don't know where you think Bitcoin's going to be at the next cycle high. I think it'll be worth several $100,000, right? 1.4% of like $500,000 puts us, or even $200,000 puts us above 2K. I feel like we're putting this at too low of levels, but still, even 2K, that's still great. We're still going to be happy even at 2K. Again, 2K, this area, this is still where all these dots connect in our head, okay? For, oh my God, it's not a scam. Oh my God, it's actually doing good. It's outperforming Bitcoin. It's outperforming a lot of things. Anybody who said that this project has failed is wrong. We have to take a different stance, right? Even at this very low level, it's there. But if we retrace all the way up to the golden ratio where we have resistance, consistent resistance here, now we're at 3.8 to 5.1%. Now we're at, is this right? Yeah. Man, we might even see more growth than that, man. By the end of this next cycle. I mean, we might be at like 10%. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, the thought here is that Bitcoin Cash is not what people expected it to be. Where's it going to go? Is it going to see new all-time highs? So then people are going to put on these fibs. People are going to do their measure moves. And people will start to, and I say people, I'm assuming the average market participant in crypto. I think Bitcoin Cash is going to be a shining star in this next bull market. Unfortunately, maybe not this year, but next year. And all that means is we have more time to accumulate. That's good. You're going to hear all kinds of people next year who are going to be like, why? I wish I had more time to accumulate. We've got time on our side right now, you guys. 23 to 30K comes along. And the thought here is going to be, is Bitcoin Cash the real Bitcoin? Have we been duped? People aren't going to just take face value. People aren't just going to take the random rhetoric that they've taken this whole time. Oh, it's a scam. It's a failed project. It's the wannabe Bitcoin. The people who believe it are crazy people. They don't know what they're talking about. That rhetoric isn't going to matter. It's not going to have any weight at all when we're at new all-time highs. But you know what rhetoric will start to gain weight that all the crazy people, all the fanatics have been saying, is that Bitcoin Cash is the better Bitcoin. Because the reason why we say that is because it's faster. It's more efficient. Of course, it's cheaper because it's worth less and the hashing algorithm has a lower difficulty. Of course, it's cheaper there. Guess what? If Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin were the same price and they had the same hash power, Bitcoin Cash is still cheaper, is still faster, is still more effective as peer-to-peer electronic cash, which is exactly what Satoshi had in mind whenever he wrote the white paper. Not store of value. Bitcoin is store of value coin. And you'll hear people say this. You'll hear people say, well, there can't be two. There can only be one. Bitcoin's been winning, so obviously Bitcoin Cash can't exist. No, there can't be two. You're right. There can't be two world store of value currencies. You're right, as far as cryptos go. But that's not what's happening. Bitcoin Cash doesn't want to be store of value coin. It wants to be peer-to-peer electronic cash coin. The dream, the vision, the idea that Satoshi had in his soul before promoting Bitcoin in the first place. The original protocol that Bitcoin was supposed to adhere to. And it might sound like fanatic talk, but once we're up here, once we're at these levels, that's going to sound like rational thinking. That's going to be the thought that institutions have, that people with billions of dollars have, that nation states have, that venture capitalists have, that people, that retail has. That's going to be the idea. My question then is, could we not, in the midst of this exuberant euphoria and this epiphany of thought that, oh my God, we've been duped. Bitcoin, by the way, at the time that Bitcoin Cash is at 20K, Bitcoin is probably going to be worth multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. It'll be worth multiple hundreds of, like at a minimum 200,000, right? But it's probably going to be worth more than that. I think that we can approach $500,000 finally on this next cycle. But regardless, what if it only sees $200,000? Connect the dots further, right? We're connecting all kind of freaking dots here. The dots that we're connecting first are the haters are going to get proven wrong. The dot that we connect after that is, where's it going to go? The dot that we connect after that is, oh my God, is this the real Bitcoin? Were they right? All the other people who hated it, they were wrong. That rhetoric goes away. It has no weight. The only rhetoric that's going to have weight is going to come from us, the Dragon Riders. And we say, yes, it is better than Bitcoin. Yes, if Bitcoin can reach $200,000, Bitcoin Cash can reach $200,000. You're going to have people who will willingly buy at a $53,000 price because they see where Bitcoin goes and they're going to be like, damn it, I wish I bought at 53K. Not even at the lowest parts of this bear market did we see a 53K price, or maybe at the absolute lowest, at best, we saw something around there. And yet you have an opportunity to buy there again and not mess it up. It's a second chance. The crowning thought, right? Hit that like button, subscribe. Stack your cash, your Bitcoin Cash, the true electronic, digital, peer-to-peer cash system that started the entire ecosystem that we know as cryptocurrency. I'll see you on the next one.